Hey fam, welcome back into the channel. How are y'all doing? Surprise, it's me. I'm back. It's been a few days. It really hasn't been a lot going on in the news that I wanted to talk about. And I just kind of wanted to take a break. I'm doing 3 channels, so I really wanted to take a break. So I decided to take just a little small break from this channel, but I was still posting on my other 2 channels. So if you ever miss me here, go over there and check me out or look at some of my older videos here. They're all relevant. So I told you guys that the Social Security was making changes in a previous video, and now I have to come back and tell you they've changed their mind about the changes they were going to make, at least for now anyway. So hey, welcome in. Hey JR. Hey Bonnie, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, Carol, even though your name's not popping up. Hey Roberta, how are you today? It is hot. It is so hot, y'all. Honey, I had on a whole wig today and I said no. I came home and took that thing off. I said no, I cannot do it. I don't know how people do it, but anyway. Hey D Washington, how are you? So we're going to get into it. I can't be here long. I need some rest, but first I have to this is my dinner. This is my dinner. Coffee and a premiere. Hey Salty Dog. Hey Marcia. Hey Kalita. Yeah, it's hot. It's hot. I have another video I'm going to do after this one. It'll come up tomorrow. It is hot. So please be careful out here. Make sure you're drinking plenty of liquids and not just water. Make sure you have electrolytes in your water. I just went and bought me another whole box. It lasts me 30 days. Well, yeah, 30 days. Is better than drinking plain water for sure. Okay, so let's get into this story right here. Let's see. So like I said, I had told y'all they were making changes and they were going to get rid of the paper checks. Well, now they are changing the changes that they said they were going to do. So the Social Security Administration, why is this thing over here in front of, hold on, of what I'm trying to read? They don't want me to see it. That's what it is. So let me give you the gist of it. Social Security Administration said it will continue issuing their paper checks, backing away from their previous announcement that they were going to switch over to electronic payments come September 30th. Then on yesterday, the Social Security Administration told CBS News that paper checks for beneficiaries, including recipients of retirement and survivor, have no other means of getting payments, but the program will also still do the electronic transfers to its roughly 70 million and push that to the beneficiaries in an effort to kind of force them over to doing electronic so they can eventually gradually phase out the paper checks. So they were just going to do away with them altogether. They were worried about security. So on July 14th, they started like doing some insight, some seeing how things are. And they figured out that, hey, we need to keep these for now because not everybody has a bank account. I guess they're thinking about the elderly people don't have that bank account maybe set up yet or whatever to get their money. And so they're not going without that money. This is what they're doing. So the reversal of the policy to eliminate paper checks comes after Massachusetts senator met with the Social Security commissioner on Wednesday and asked about the plan to discontinue the paper checks. There are about 600,000 Americans who will still receive their paper checks. It's a small fraction of people who receive Social Security payments, but it's a population that often needs checks through paper versus electronic deposit, but for whatever reason, because a lot of people don't trust the banks. I think that's the reason, right? A lot of people don't trust the banks for that. And then, let's see. I mean, like I said, it's just not a lot going on out here that I want to talk about. It's a lot of politics going on. Excuse me, and I don't care to talk about it. I really don't. I can't change nothing about it. Let's see. Hold on. Where's the story I had? Well, I lost that story. Dang it. That's it. Nope, that ain't it. That's a Russia story. I don't want to talk about that. So how have y'all been doing while I'm trying to find this story that I had up? Oh, y'all, did y'all hear about Hulk Hogan dying? Like all these celebrities passing away. I don't know. He was 71. I don't know if he was sick or not, but he passed away. I used to be a huge wrestling fan when I was a little girl. But I did watch his show with his daughter and his previous wife. I want to know how he died, though. Let me see. I'm nosy like that. Let's see. Okay. I know this is off the subject of Social Security, but sometimes I just get tired, y'all, of some of this news. So don't mind me. If you don't want to see it, you can click off. It's fine. I'll be okay. I'll be okay. Okay, so it says, how I used to say it. Let Trumpomania run wild, brother. He bellowed in a mashed up outfit. Look at that. Let's get to it. How did he die? Just a bunch of pictures, men in tights. It says bunch of the controversial Hogan's popularity that the now leader of the free world has chosen the wrestler to endorse him for president. Instantly recognizable in trademark bandana, shaggy blonde, handlebar mustache. Hogan had long been larger than life. Died at 71 following a cardiac arrest. Oh, okay. This morning. I know he had been sick before, but let's see. Hogan became such a big star that he was able to transcend wrestling and start in the movie The Rock 3. I don't remember that, but okay. As well as securing his own reality TV show. There was also controversy. I know that him and his daughter, Brooke, haven't spoken in 8 years. I really hope that they spoke when he got sick recently, because I wouldn't want to live with that, not regardless of whatever happened. So it says there was also controversy with him in 2012, a sex tape between Hogan and Heather Clem, the estranged wife of the improbably named radio personality Bubba, the Love Sponge. Never heard of him. During the clip, Bubba is heard telling the couple they can do their thing and he will be in his office. Oh my God. That's what I get for being nosy. Then at the end of the tape, Bubba tells his wife, if we ever need to retire, here is our ticket. Wow, that's crazy. Let's see if they say anything about Brooke, because I just saw an article up there. Because I think she was upset because they were using her to make money and she didn't really receive any of that money, which is usually the case when you have parents and children doing reality TV and stuff. That's why YouTube did the stuff that they did, because the parents were spending the money. Oh, he was born in Augusta, Georgia. Okay. His dad was a construction foreman, father, and his mom was a dance teacher. They don't really have a lot to say about him in this. That's weird, but okay. Guess maybe he didn't do a lot with his life as far as give back, or I don't know. Let's see what his daughter's saying. She know what's up. Where's that little thing I just saw? Where is it? Oh God, I just saw it. Oh, here it is. Let's see. So it says, yep, 8 years before his death, they didn't speak. She stopped speaking to him and her mom. That's the daughter, which the mom was trying to look like the daughter, but anyway. So it says the WWE legend reportedly suffered from cardiac arrest in his Clearwater home on Thursday morning, just months before the icon's sad death. His daughter, Brooke, 37, revealed she no longer speaks to her father and mother, Linda. Wow. On March 26th, Linda said in an emotional Instagram story that Brooke cut ties with her 8 years ago. She explained the estrangement was caused by her ex-husband, but Brooke came out and said, nope, I don't speak to my mama. It's nothing to do with my daddy, and I don't speak to my daddy. It's nothing to do with my mama. They both have their own separate things with me, basically is what she said. I saw it in a different article. She said, I have completely separate reasons for going. No contact with each of my parents. No contact with my mom has nothing to do with my dad. And no contact with my father has nothing to do with my mother. She went on to explain that experiences in her childhood robbed her of self-esteem and confidence. It took me many years to figure out the things that were seemingly done for me really benefited someone else in a greater capacity. She claimed to have received texts from family members with unbelievably hurtful words that cannot be forgiven. Brooke alleged she had asked to defend poor behavior. She was asked to defend poor behavior in public, only to find out she was misinformed and lied to. She says, I've watched others benefit financially off my suffering and embarrassment caused by their selfish behavior. Brooke went on to allege she was expected to and did forgive blows to her career. She continued to claim, my family is very skilled at war. I so badly wanted to see good in them, protect, help, and start anew. Just to be disrespected again and again, I longed for a normal family, but it never came to fruition. I've repeatedly held my hand out to help them, only to have them pull me into the darkness with them. I've set boundaries that were not respected, and at this point, I can truly do no more. Each individual, and this is the daughter speaking about Hulk Hogan and Linda, her mom. Each individual on their own has given me more than enough reason over the years to make this extremely hard and painful decision to end contact. As much as I not only understand and have empathy for their own struggles, I absolutely love them with every fiber of my being, which deep down I think they know. My heart hurts every day, and not a day passes it does not affect me. Inside of me, there is a little girl who desperately wants and needs her mom and dad. No one wants to, feel such much pain and not have parents. But their behavior became more painful than their absence. Wow, that is saying a lot. I hope one day they realize, appreciate, and respect why I've chosen to remain as quiet as possible, not exposing specific names and details of certain experiences to still try to protect them. Brooke shares twins, Oliver and Molly. She has twins now who she welcomed in January. So does that mean they never got to see the grandbabies? So TMZ is reporting that Brooke actually had spoken to her father in September of 2023. She expressed her love and concern for her father in the phone call and even urged him to slow down with work because of his health issues. At the time of publication, she has not commented on her father's death. Like she said, she didn't approve of what they was doing. That's the mama in the middle. But she still love them. But sometimes you do have to love people from a distance, even if it's your own parents. If it's bringing pain to your life, oh, cute little baby, bringing pain to your life, sometimes you just got to leave it alone. I hate to see that, but So Hulk and Linda split in 2007 after 26 years of marriage. Whoo, boy. I saw a video with Linda in it, and she does not look good. Like, she looked like she's having a hard time. But she got 70% of the liquid assets, whatever that was, and 40% ownership of his companies, but yet she looked like she was living not well. Unless she ran through the money. It says she also received $3 million property settlement from her husband. So she got a lot. They said Hulk died after police and emergency medical personnel were called to his home in Clearwater, Florida at 9:51 a.m. on today. Clearwater police told the U.S. Sun that first responders responded to Hogan's home after receiving a call about cardiac arrest. Hogan was transported to Morton Plant Hospital and was pronounced dead at the hospital. Hulk had been suffering from health issues in the weeks leading up to his death, including rumors that he was on his deathbed and in a coma. However, Hogan's wife, Sky, denied the reports, stating his heart was strong and he was recovering from a neck procedure. WWE confirmed Hogan's death in a statement. They said they are saddened to learn WWE Hall of Famer Hulk Hogan has passed away, one of pop culture's most recognizable figures. Now, I saw, what's the guy? Ric Flair. I've seen Ric Flair in person because he's a South Carolina person. And I've not say met him, but I've seen him up close when he was younger. He was a nice looking guy. And then I saw him last week in, who video was I looking at? Was it Shiloh? I think it was Shiloh Sanders. And he ran into him at a bar. Ric Flair was being Ric Flair. His face was blushed. He had been drinking, and he was he was surrounded by youngins. He was surrounded by some youngins, black and white youngins. Like they looked like they was maybe 20 something, maybe. And I'm giving them that. I'm like, Ric Flair is still Ric Flairing and still hitting a woo. I said, Lord, these old people better slow down. These young girls gonna take you out of here. And I think Hulk Hogan married a young girl, didn't he? Let me sip on that. I ran into this guy at the Sam's Club. I had done some shopping for somebody. He was getting ready to get in line at the food court. And he had on a shirt and he said, I like what did he say? I like older women. Something like that. It was on his shirt. I had to tap him on the shoulder. I said, my husband would love that shirt. He said, yeah, me too. I said, he's like, my wife 4 years older than me. I said, I'm 7 years older than my husband. So yeah, he liked that shirt. But y'all, let me get out of here. Ain't much happening out here. I mean, it's a lot happening, but I don't know if y'all would want to see anything that's outside of preparedness or whatever, which I do have some preparedness videos coming because I do have a couple of sponsorships that sponsors that reached out to me, and I said I would do it because it goes along with what I'm doing. But I'll be back. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm about to record a video now for tomorrow. Oh, hold on. I don't know. It's a good thing that is but that's your brand, I guess, for the rest of your life. Like, how do you turn it off if that is just who you are or what? I think that's the new wife. She's a youngin'. Younger than him. She's probably in her 30s. I didn't realize he wrestled The Rock. Oh, I remember that one. I can't let the sound play. Sorry, y'all. He walked like a man who has been wrestling his whole life. Like, you know how those football players walk and stuff? I guess that's why my son's like, I'm going to give it up. I'm not going to play in college. I'm done. I want my body to be right. But anywho, all his women look like his daughter. Not saying that is some of the issue with her, but she kind of making it seem like it's an issue with maybe something taking place. I remember the brother Nick too. But like it might have been something that took place. That's how she made it seem. But I don't know. So I don't put no words in her mouth, but that's just how she made it seem. Like she wasn't protected from them.
Along with the Clearwater Police Department, responded to a house in the 1000 block of El Dorado Avenue for a medical related call. It was discovered at that time Terry Bollea, also known as Hulk Hogan, was experiencing a serious medical related issue. Personnel provided medical treatment at that time and transported Mr. Bollea to Morton Plant Hospital, where he died at 11:17 a.m. The Clearwater Police Department is conducting a death investigation, which is standard in these types of cases. There are no signs of foul play or suspicious activity related to this call for service at this time.
Hogan's official cause of death was not immediately released.
Oh, well, y'all. Thank y'all for
Paradise
coming
you
in.
want to lose
I do
yourself in. Book
appreciate
your
it.
escape to Celebration Key, Carnival's exclusive paradise.
Leave with that. May he rest in peace. And hopefully there was peace with him and his daughter before he passed. Because when my father died, oh my gosh, it's coming up on a year in August. We knew he was going to pass that night, but nobody wanted to stay. They just could not. They just like, I can't bear it. And now I see why, because I haven't been the same since that night. And while I am a daddy's girl and I'm named after my dad, I didn't grow up with my dad. Like I saw him, but I didn't grow up with him every single day, because I was around 5 or 6 when they divorced. And him and my brothers stayed in Sumter and South Carolina, and then we moved to Columbia, South Carolina. And many years I felt like my dad, I was like, well, did he not love me or us or whatever? Because like we would go down there, but then older we got, the other sisters, they didn't want to go. I still wanted to go, but then I also missed my mom at the same time, and then I would cry, I want to go back home. So but then he remarried, and I just felt like I was not a priority. And then a couple of years ago, I went to visit him, and I was sitting there, and sometimes I would catch him staring at me, and I'm like, and this was after he had a few strokes, so he wasn't really moving around a lot. I was like, why are you staring at me, Daddy? And he was like, I'm just thinking about, and we had closure. I was able to express to him how I felt, and he was able to tell me what was going on at that time, because all I knew was my mom's side. It's like people always say, old people always say, oh, it's 3 sides to the story. So I only had my side, my mom's side, but I never had his side, because I never had the strength or courage or whatever to ask him, because I didn't want to offend him or whatever. Whenever I saw him, I just took it as, what it was. And I'm like, I'm not bringing that up. That's past up. But it always affected me. Like, you named me after you, so we should be like this. But in my heart, we were like that. But physically, we were not. So he explained, and he said how, I guess they had their whole thing. My mom and him had their whole thing, how, because of how they broke up. I won't get into that, but I feel like she had a lot of animosity. And you see that with a lot of people now today. They hold on to the animosity of what happened. But yet at the same time, she'd be talking about how she still loved him and stuff like that. But anyway, even years later, and the kids are the ones that are affected and have to deal with that stuff as they get older and figure out how to process through it or go to therapy or whatever. So I understand where Brooke was coming from. When she said, I truly love them. And I'm pretty sure they know that I truly love them. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel. I felt like my dad truly loved me. And I know he loved me. And I know he knew, you know what I'm saying? So I know he knew that I love him. That's what I'm trying to say. So he told me how, because where he worked in Columbia, so he had to go there every day. And when I was in middle school, my school was like right in front of, pretty much in front of the place where he worked. And so he said when he would go um get the company truck and stuff like that, he would come back and he would say, now, if you did that today, they would say you a pervert. But he would get the truck and he was like, I sat out in front of the gate and I would watch you run around and play or whatever with your friends. I'm telling myself, I hope you ain't see me out there. Anyway, so, so I'm like, really? And he was like, yeah. He was like, I missed you, and I couldn't see you. So that makes me believe that my mom did not allow him to see us because maybe she was holding on to whatever hurt and pain she had with him and didn't want to have to see him in order to drop us and stuff like that. So I see that all the time. My oldest son, he go through that a lot with his girlfriend, well, baby mama. So yeah, I understand where she was coming from, but it's coming up on my daddy's year anniversary of his death. And I haven't been to the site since he passed. I just can't bring myself to do it because I have not been the same since my father passed. Because I understood why my siblings did not want to be there, especially my brother, because he grew up with him every single day. And he's named after my daddy also. And so I'm like, I said, well, I'm going to stay. And I stayed up there, just me. And hospice made us they were making him very comfortable and they were making sure I was okay. And so, whenever you're going through something like that and your family member is passing, oh, what a blessing hospice is. You know what I'm saying? So when it had gotten to the point where we knew, once we agreed that he was not going to have the tube feeding, because that's not what he wanted. He had already, because he had already had multiple strokes. He knew something was about to happen. Like, he beat cancer years ago, but he couldn't beat them strokes. So we knew him not having the trach, him not, the feeding tube, then he's not eating. He can't take nothing in. So we felt bad about it because almost like, oh, are we starving him? But he has no want for food. No, he has no hunger, if you get what I'm saying. It's like you're already in heaven and you don't have a need. You don't have a need. The only need you have is God. You're not hungry. You're not hurting. You're not in pain. You know what I'm saying? So there is no darkness. There's just light. And so sometimes when he would be laying in the bed, because they allowed us, just like, you could bring in all the pictures you want to bring in. We set up pictures of his wife that he was married to, and of us, his grandkids and stuff like that. Even though we knew at some point he wasn't seeing that stuff, even if he was staring over there, he was like he was looking into a light. You get what I'm saying? And I've watched people pass before, and because I worked in healthcare, and I even had to put them in the body bag, and after the family visits, and take them down to the morgue until the funeral home comes. But when it's your own family, it's a totally different thing. And I thought I could handle it because I had done this stuff before for many years. It's not the same. It is not the freaking same. Because when my brother was the last one to leave, and it was earlier, like maybe 7 when he left, somewhere around there. And so I'm like, okay, it's gonna probably be tonight just from the things I was seeing from him, the respirations and stuff. I was counting them myself with my watch and all of that. I knew what that looks like. I've been there, but it ain't the same seeing your parent pass, whether you spent every day with them or not. It is not the same. You know that this is the person that brought you into the world, and now you're sitting here and you got to watch them leave. And so, I don't know where this video going. I don't know where this video going. But anyway, he I was holding his hand. I brushed his hair. Talked to him, sang to him, prayed with him. Because I used to be a singer, but I don't think my daddy ever heard me sing. Did all those things, even though he was not responsive to any of them. He would just sit there. Sometimes I felt like he was there because like a tear would roll down the side of his face. And I'd be like, Daddy, is okay. And at one point, because they told me, hospice said, if you feel like he is in pain, let us know so we can give him something, because we are here for comfort. We don't want him to suffer. And so I'm like, okay. I felt like he was in pain because he had tears rolling. And maybe it was him coming to realization that I'm about to leave here. And then, he moaned a few times. So I called them and I told him, hey, can you give him something? They came and gave him something. This was, it was late. It was late, but they came and they gave him something. And maybe a couple hours later, if that, I was holding his hand. And I just heard that breath that I've heard before from doing this with other people. And I was like, oh my God. Because the whole time I was saying, Daddy is okay. We good. We gonna be all right. You did all you could do. I love you, all this stuff. So then he passed. And it was like his skin. My daddy looked like, because he's mixed race. He was mixed race. So towards the end, he looked more Indian than white. Well, you know what I'm saying, because he was a blend. But I'm like, he just had like this glow. And I'm like crying a little, but not a lot. Just, I don't know. I can't even explain that feeling in that particular moment. But I called them in, and of course they called it. And I called my siblings and I was like, hey, well, they knew. If I was calling that late, they knew, because I don't call anybody that late. And they knew why I was up there. So, because I live here in North Carolina and that was in South Carolina. So, I called and I was like, so Daddy just died. They want to know, do you want to come up here before they have to take him downstairs? My brother told me he was like, Justin, even though we knew this was coming, but they were so close. He's like, no, he's not gonna come. And I called my sisters, and one lived out of town. Of course, she couldn't come. And then, because she's taking care of our mom, so, who has dementia. And then my sister that was in town, said she couldn't come. And then they both called me back and said that, well, my other sister, she said she wasn't coming. I have 3 sisters. So then the first sister, the oldest sister and the oldest brother called me back, and it was like, hey, I'm coming up there. I don't want you to be up there by yourself. So they came back up. And yep, that was that, y'all. And that was like a year ago in August. Oh my gosh. Why am I talking about this right now? We talking about Hulk Hogan and Social Security, child. I've been all over the place all week. That's probably why I ain't put no video up. But anyway, y'all, thank y'all for listening to me. I know this ain't what you came for, but it's what you got. It's what you got today. You don't know what you're going to get over here when you open up over here. So I'll see y'all tomorrow in another video. Y'all take care. Stay safe. If it's some things that you can fix with family members, go ahead and fix that, because life is short. Life is shorter than we think. So y'all take care. Stay safe. Love you.